Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Ooh, wait. It is Black and Nuanced Podcast, and my name is Georgette.
Oh, and I'm Rob Host.
Oh, my gosh.
You know what? I thought you was going to say brought to you by Excitement Radio.
I didn't get there yet.
See,
I got to do the description.
You be flipping it on me. And I'm Rob Host Snap with you. Yeah.
No, I do that at the end every time, Snap. If you go back and listen, he's
you
so
changed
funny.
your 2019
I
flow.
did it. I promise. I did it. Welcome to Black and Nuanced Podcast, dispelling the ideas that all black people are monoliths, because we're not. We bring our varying perspectives to pop culture, relationships, and things we go through that we can't always name. Welcome to Black and Nuanced, powered by
ExcitementRadio.com.
I leave the .com part out. That's the part he was waiting for. Snap, what up, man?
I'm good to be alive today.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling the moment right now.
I know. I'm in a good mood today.
And maybe it's because the MLK weekend. I don't know. I had 3 days, but it wasn't like I had 3 days of rest or nothing like that. You know, I mean, we just passed that Monday. It's Tuesday officially. And I just got a lot of rest. I don't know. I got a lot of rest. So I'm feeling extra energized today. I'm feeling good.
Okay. Feeling good. Feeling great.
Yeah. So
I'm not mad at that.
How about you?
Man, I'm in my third week of swimming lessons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I still haven't, my brain still hasn't connected the breathing with the motion of breathing and turning my head, but I still have good form. Hey, she got good form. Oh, she got in my Nicki Minaj voice. But our instructor, swim instructor, shout out to John from the YMCA in Hollywood. The one thing that he said, and he was honest about it, and I already knew this, he's like, you're not going to learn swimming in a month, right? We're doing 8 classes total. He said, but you know the form, you know what you're supposed to do.
Right.
He said, just practice.
Practice the basics.
You got to practice. And he said, or you could continue taking the class again. He's like, but I know, money situations for different people. Mm-hmm. He said, but you know the form. And so yeah, man. So I'm getting there. We were doing treading earlier this week. Okay. We're going to do more treading and breathing. But
treading could save your life. It's just
treading was not easy.
It's not.
He showed us 4 different types.
Okay.
Yeah. He showed us 4 different types.
Okay.
And we all failed.
Yeah.
Most of us
because it's one thing to tread in a pool. It's another thing to be on ocean water, where even the slightest of current. And that treading becomes a lot more difficult.
Right. And he was just like, you got to relax. But he was like, if he was talking to someone like, if you were in the deep end, you'd be better. But we're touching the ground, right?
Right.
So we know, our minds are telling us, okay, we're treading, but if I don't get this and my legs get tired, I can touch the, it's not in the deep end. Not in the deep end. Okay. So let's get into the first, or the theme of this episode. We're bringing back up toxic masculinity. I felt like it was a need to talk about this again, and there will always be a need as long as I'm doing this fucking podcast to talk about toxic masculinity. But I think it's interesting because it comes in a different form with Gillette and their recent ad that has people outraged. Snap, you saw the ad, right?
I saw the ad. And you know what's funny, too? Because,
we'll give some background on it.
Okay, so the ad features a few things of boys will be boys type things and the things that boys go through in life, and they kind of focus on it. And they focus on, types of behavior. But remember, for the longest time, Gillette's slogan was, the best a man can get.
Right,
and
right.
So, I grew up, knowing the slogan, even though I never really used shaving razors.
Yeah.
I always use a trimmer or something like that.
Yeah.
So again,
a bevel style type.
Right.
Okay.
So a lot of that is culture with, the shaving razor blades and things like that. So, but when I saw it, I immediately, in the commercial is, what's that actor? Black dude with the bald head.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wait, I gotta. Okay.
Oh, my man.
So wait, let me depict situations trying to stop other men from catcalling or telling women to smile, or the whole background on let boys be boys because they're fighting, or someone's being bullied or called a sissy. So it's framing men.
What's the actor's name? Bald head, black dude.
I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, here we go. His name is. Oh, god damn! I hate when I do stuff like this. But okay. He was in White Girls. He was the masculine dude who liked one of the brothers, who just wouldn't take no
Terry
for
Crews.
Terry Crews.
Terry Crews was in it? I got to go back and watch that.
Terry Crews is in the commercial.
I didn't notice that.
It looks like he's in front of a court appeal. I don't know what it looks like he's testifying, literally. Like he's in court, and he's saying,
that was a real clip.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yes,
and he
yes, I
used
remember
it to
that.
where he's saying men have to hold men accountable.
Yep.
And so,
in
it's like,
his
wait a minute,
harassment.
and then I think that's what it was.
Yes.
So, they just, so you took this big, tough, black man and put him in this vulnerable situation, but he's willing to talk about it now.
Right.
For a long time, I don't think Terry Crews did talk about what was going on in Hollywood.
So this is what he said about that. So just so people know and framing it correctly, context-wise, they took a clip from his actual court hearing about the sexual harassment that he experienced from one of his former agents. He said the people that came to
showed examples of we know is wrong.
Yeah.
And this is how you change, because the boys teach this younger generation what being a man really is. And, so that's how I saw it. I didn't see it as, oh my God, we bashing this person. And if you ask me, Gillette was falling in sales because, you got all these new big time companies like DollarShave.com where you don't have to go.
Dollar Shave Club, yeah, there was like,
Schick was big, yeah.
There was another one they said.
But, things like that.
Yeah, their sales
it's like these could order this and the blades are cheap. And if I'm correct, some of these products are selling blades that fit other, so it would fit a Schick razor or maybe a Gillette razor.
Oh, yeah. I forgot one of the companies was doing that. Yeah, I think it was Schick, yeah.
So it's like, we want it right now. We want it. We don't want to wait for it. We want it. So the convenience of going online and ordering something like that, you make it convenient for me. And then if the price is cheaper, if I'm correct, when and reading the story, Gillette had to go down about 15% on their products just so that they can compete price-wise.
Right.
But again, if you ask me, there are a lot of people who say, why am I going to go into Publix and buy all when I can buy Publix detergent and it's going to get my clothes just as clean? It may not smell like the all, but, so again, when you're making something convenient, it's just as good as the next thing, and it comes to my door and I don't have to go out, so I get it, but that's all I saw it as. Gillette trying to make a comeback into the eyes of the American shopping public. That's what I saw it as. So, and again, my connection was, yeah, that's some bullshit. Oh, them 5 kids chasing that little kid. All right, that's some bullshit. But at the end of the day, right? Yeah, you saw the 5 kids chasing the little kid, but it was another man who had his baby in his arm who looked like that's not the right thing. And he walked over
with his child in his hand.
So it's like, this is the right thing. This is how you, and so that's what I saw out of the commercial.
Right.
I didn't see the other stuff. So why people are upset, I guess I can see a 50-50, I can look at it from another side.
So here are my thoughts. The backlash was kind of interesting to me because, now men felt like, so companies have to walk a thin line or a fine line when it comes to corporate social responsibility, how far in they want to get with it. And so on the Forbes article, it talks about why Gillette's new ad campaign is toxic. And I just wanted to kind of talk about some of the reasons on what they felt like, where Forbes felt like, where they went wrong. And he made 3 points. What was one of the first points, Snap?
Here we go. While corporate social responsibility appeals can be effective, corporations must be sensitive to the potential of consumers being skeptical of their motives or not wanting to be told how to behave by a profit-motivated company.
So I think, to be honest, that is the biggest part of the backlash. Let's read the second one and the third one, and then we'll just get back into it and then connect the dots to another thing that's happening in social culture.
The second is going to be the creative and the best a man can be could be more effective if delivered differently.
Right. And then what's the third one?
And the third is going to be politically charged language should be avoided by advertisers.
So getting into the first one, I have up, and I'll throw that in the show notes, is on dailywire.com, where Twitter, some people had, even women from Twitter, on Twitter had something to say. They were just like, where is it? Okay, so one user on Twitter using the hashtag boycott Gillette. So the caption on Gillette says, "Boys will be boys? ? Isn't it time we stopped excusing bad behavior? Rethink and take action by joining us at thebestmencanbe.org. Hashtag thebestmancanbe. Outrageous. Instead of finding good things to say about men, parentheses, men who have spent their hard-earned pay on their razors, Gillette tells men that they are predators / rapists in waiting." Another woman a person that's a wife says, "Wife, mom to boys, consumer, the toxic masculinity narrative needs to stop." So this is where I have an issue, because everyone's entitled to their opinion, but telling someone that the toxic masculinity narrative needs to stop doesn't take it away from it not existing in this society that we live in. That's fine if you don't want to buy Gillette anymore. That's fine if you feel like they generalize. That's fine if you feel like you're disconnected to the message that they're sending. But with Gillette, they open up a bigger conversation. I want to find the comment from the CEO. I'll find it.
Well, let me give you something that Pankaj Bala, Gillette's North American brand director,
that's who I was talking about.
Quoted by CNN as saying, "We expected debate. Actually, a discussion is necessary. If we don't discuss and talk about it, I don't think real change will happen."
Yep.
And so, again, you know, but in talking about it, some people become in their feelings because of their opinions. Some people are sensitive. 30 years ago, and understand where this started, right? Because obviously they're trying a new slogan because the best of man can get is outdated. Right. Now, 30 years ago, we didn't have the social media rage, all the electronics that we have. We don't have all the information. So people may have had opinions, but it wasn't so widely spread.
Right.
So, but again, when I thought about Gillette, I never thought about Gillette as a razor that women used. And I don't know, because the way it was marketed to me.
Well, no, there's women that buy for their husbands or their partners.
Okay, right. Yeah, and so, but again, you know, when you look at a commercial, right? When I look at an Old Spice commercial, I'm not looking at an Old Spice commercial because I'm thinking, oh, it's going to make me smell good. I think of it as being the cool guy, like the cool black guy on the horse that became famous, you know, and then Terry Crews started doing that Old Spice commercial too.
I used to be like, okay.
You know, again.
But not because it was emasculating.
It was just a funny commercial. It was cool. It was cool. I connected with the product. I was like, I'll buy something like that. Because, you know.
It was just corny commercial to me.
But at the same time, I can watch a Secret commercial and not feel offended that it was strong enough for a man but made for a woman. Guess what happened to me if I ran out of deodorant?
That was the slogan, wasn't it?
Listen, I would use my lady's deodorant, right? I'm powder
I know men that use women's deodorant because it smells better. They liked it.
But where's the sensitive argument coming in that? It's like, you know.
But I think it's. I mean, a bigger conversation around toxic masculinity always needs to happen, and I think it needs to happen between men amongst men, right? But it's also women not dismissing it as if it doesn't fucking exist. Okay, you're a wife to sons, great.
Right.
You have a husband that treats you the way he treats you, great.
Right.
But the fact that you think that's not, you can't be in your incubator and think that's like it doesn't happen elsewhere. Right. So I want to connect the dots to this toxic masculinity story from Gillette to Future, right? Not to say that we care to talk about Future and all his things that he's doing. But one thing I wanted to call out, and this story is but it's the fact of like the underlying context of this story. Future, I felt like, so Future went on Free Bands Radio. He has a show on Apple Beats One Radio or Beats One Radio, where he was asked by one of his friends about his thoughts on Russell Wilson. First and foremost, let's be very clear. Why in the fuck are you even talking about Russell Wilson? Like, you should have asked him that question. He's
been talking about Russell Wilson since the media released that picture of him pushing his son Future Jr. with Sierra on a date or something like that.
So we'll get into that whole context because I think another man taking care of, and that's not to say like he's taking the place of you as a father, but
he's just there providing
right?
a better lifestyle than what he would have had if she was a single mom. And again, I'm not saying that Future's not there for his child, but what I do know is you're ignorant to think that because you're not with a woman that she can't have a great lifestyle. Right. That she can't be with a man that's going to love her and love her children, even if it means it's your children.
Yes.
And so that's the idiotic part
Come
about
on,
it.
Snap, you better
sorry.
go off. Don't say I'm sorry.
That get me right there because you're a bitter-ass Negro or something like that. You know, because again, how dare you say, I don't want to be with you, but nobody else can be? How dare you say, I'm going to be in this relationship and say that you can't talk about not one of your exes.
Right.
But you can't talk about no other man in front of. That's controlling. That is. I'm sorry.
No. I want you to get into the context. So give them the set up the story.
I was never that guy. I just was never that guy.
Set up the context for what happened with. So I said Free Bands. What did Future?
For the most part, I think he was just saying Russell Wilson wasn't being a man in his marriage because he let Sierra run the relationship. He let her say what she wanted, do what she gonna do
about him,
and
he didn't relate it to anything else.
Okay, and because he can get on social media and rant about his baby mama,
he used to go off about Sierra on social media,
and so that's all she doing. Listen, Russell Wilson knows he's got a life as a football player, and my baby got a wife as an artist. And guess what? To maintain and keep
the mother
herself
of my children
relevant, she gonna have have to defend herself sometimes social media wise.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying that's the best thing to do. Sometimes a phone call, but you are her child's father. How could she not talk to you?
Yep.
How could he not allow you to be in things like that? It's like,
what's the quote that he said that was kind of upsetting? Well, hold on, I got it. Okay. Look, Snap is riled up. I'm trying to let Snap go though. Like, yes. He's basically what he said was he do exactly what she tell him to do. He not being a man in that position. You not telling her, bro, chill out with that on the internet. Don't even talk to him. I'm your husband. You better not even bring Future's name up. And then he went on to explain if that was me, she couldn't even bring his name up. She'd know that. She couldn't even bring her ex's names up. Don't give that shit no energy. It's about me. I'm taking care of everything.
And that's why they not together now. Women don't want to be controlled, just like no man want to be controlled.
But that's his perspective. If you're saying that Russ is being controlled by Sierra because she's not telling her that he's not telling her to stop talking about you.
You shouldn't be doing that.
What does that have to do with him? Like, he is strong enough in his relationship with Sierra that she stopped talking about him. At this point, it's all in legal documents. Like, that's where they're at. So if she wants to go off about him, why does that have anything why does Russ Wilson have anything to do with that, right? I understand that. I understand what he's saying, but to me that's more toxic. It could easily, you don't even know what, but the thing is he's assuming that Russ hasn't said anything to Sierra.
Right.
Because Sierra's her own woman, right?
It's not like they're there.
That's like me saying, like, Snap, but like, don't no, that's like me saying to one of if I was cool with the mother of your children, like, yo, don't file for child support. But if you're not helping her out, like, if the father's not helping her out, who the fuck am I to say, like, what she feels like she needs to do for her to heal or move forward? And so their response was, they basically didn't do a rebuttal. I mean, the rebuttal was this picture of her son, who's so cute, kissing the daughter on they were kissing each other, like the daughter and the
children.
Yeah.
Don't know the outside things because children are the most loving. They just don't know.
Innocent. They don't know.
Right. And so for you to be feuding, and that's why I say that was one thing I was like, regardless if I'm going to be with one of my baby's mothers, and even if I wasn't, I'm going to show my child the best love that I can. And you ain't ever going to see me fight with your mother. You're not ever going to see me talk bad about your mother because that's not who I am as a person. Now, again, just like that Gillette commercial, not everybody grew up being a bully.
Right.
Not everybody, so it's like.
I think some of the men that got offended from some other stuff that I saw too were just men that felt like, well, why am I getting categorized in this? And I think, but to be honest, like, if the shoe doesn't fit, don't wear it. And I don't think, because
but take note that it does exist.
It does exist.
And what are you going to do personally to play your part in making change around this place? So
getting into the last story, which breaks my fucking heart, Snap. I was just, I went through it and I was just like, you know what, we got to talk about it. So an Atlanta woman was drugged and raped on Facebook Live at Opera Nightclub. And this is where it gets really horrible for me. So it said this happened early Sunday morning from this week. Apparently, there's a video that shows the woman smiling and dancing with the man at first before things went horribly wrong and she was sexually assaulted. Singer BB Rexa shared a tweet on the matter with a photo of the suspect. Now, this is where I'm troubled. So the men that are offended by the toxic masculinity ad from Gillette, where the fuck were the men that may have seen or witnessed this happening and did nothing? Who the fuck was the person behind the phone, Snap, recording this woman getting fucking raped? Is that how barbaric of a society that we have become? Like, I've never heard no shit like this, Snap. Ever. And this woman, like, this is all plastered, and I'm sure it should be taken down by now if it hasn't. She deleted all of her posts on Instagram, and she just put, please no calls, text. She's still gathering herself. Snap. I just can't fathom that people felt like that was okay to record on the phone, and that nobody stopped it. Like, not even punching him, pushing him, asking him like, what are you doing? So this is what I'm saying, why I find it very hard to even take offense to some of the behavior that Gillette called out in the toxic masculinity ad that they did, or calling out different behaviors of men, because shit like this still happens. Despite it not being on Facebook Live, the fact that she got raped. Shout out to my friend again, Darnell. I'm shouting him out for therapemovie.com, where he talks about people getting raped. obviously, right? It's called Set Yourself on Fire, but it's the situations that people find themselves in. People are easily blamed. People might say like, well, she shouldn't have been drinking.
She shouldn't have been wearing that.
Whatever, and da-da-da-da-da. She seemed friendly with him. What the fuck does that mean?
Absolutely nothing.
Nobody has the right to anybody's
have to be
body.
Raped because I want to look good while I'm going out, or what I think makes me sexy shouldn't be the reason that I was raped.
A woman can't go and enjoy herself out in a nightclub without worrying about a man fucking drugging her, putting something in her drink. Are you kidding me? Stop. I wanted to bring awareness to this. This is on hotnewhiphop.com. I had to bring awareness to this because it boils me. It boils me. And Snap, I know we talked about this, but you have two daughters or one?
I have two daughters. One 26 and one 13.
Well, when you see stories like this, how does that make you feel?
I'm riled up inside, and I don't feel good about this. And to be honest, when I opened the story, I was hoping that the video wasn't there because I don't want to watch stuff like that.
Yep.
I don't know. It's just something so downright disgusting about that. But again, right? We don't have all the facts.
Right.
I know I didn't see the video, so I don't know the facts.
Right.
But the chit chatter, and some of the comments at first was, well, she looked like she was liking it. It seemed like she was laughing at first. It seems like, and so I know the headline says she was drugged, but then, in one of the comments, I think somebody said something like, well, was she just drunk and acting like she was drugged?
See, but the fact that comments like that, Snap, is what makes it problematic.
And there you go.
Because I think there was a comment I saw that said, like, you could hear her saying no.
Right. Repeatedly.
Right. I didn't watch the video. I'm not going to watch the video. I'm not going to I'm not pulling that video up. No. I'm not going looking for that video.
No.
But that's why bigger conversations around toxic masculinity needs to happen. We're not, I sometimes I have conversations with one of my guy friends that I say like that it oozes out of him because it'll be little things, right? Toxic masculinity shows up in so many different ways, but it's this idea of men feeling like they're entitled to certain things, especially when it comes to women, men exerting their control, men feeling like, they have a certain or like a hierarchical order in this society over women. It's just, there's a lot. And we're not pointing the fingers at specific men. Notice how I said no race. I said no community. Because it's we are not talking to our young boys. We are not talking to men now that may not see certain things in the light from a different perspective because of what they were taught. Who was it? Was it you that I was talking to? I mean, I know in various episodes, you would even call out some of your homophobic behaviors, right? Mm-hmm. Because of things that you were taught.
Right.
But who is breaking the fucking cycle, Snap?
No one. It was up to me to actually, again, have it slapped in my face to where it was like, yo, you do this, right? And I'm like, for real? Because I didn't think I was a part of the problem. You know what I mean? I didn't go around saying I hate gay people. I dislike homosexuality no, I didn't think I was a part of the problem until one day somebody said, you say you're not a part of the problem, but listen to the homophobic shit that you say. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. And so I had to fall back. And so that's what made me start saying, and then, it's almost hard to control what you want to say, especially if that's the way you feel and if that's your opinion. Right. But always know that your opinion may not be
right. But it's not necessarily that it's not the opinion. And I might have to bring my line sister back on. She was on one of our episodes when we talked about talking black, talking white, quote unquote. It's the words that are used that it can be seen as offensive, right? Meaning, so what was it? Oh, saying like, oh, that shit is gay. Like, come play this video game with me. Like, but why do we have to use the word gay? Why can't that be seen as like, oh, that's your behavior? I mean, I know no one would use this in their context, but like that behavior is undesirable, or like, man, that's whack.
Right.
Like that you're acting like that. Like, why does that have to be like, why are you acting gay?
Right.
We can remove that and change that. It could be something else. And so, but no, this story is so devastating. And so, yeah, just justice for her. I pray that they find that man.
They're going to find him. But
is he going to get a slap on the wrist? Because, when it comes to people don't report rape because of not being taken seriously or the fucking fuck boy comments that were
right.
on
and
the article.
That video is going to play a huge part. And now again, that video could
but the
make
person
her...
But the person that recorded it should also get slapped on the wrist with...
slapped on the wrist?
I mean, like, not slap on the wrist, but like, I'm talking about like slap on the wrist, like handcuffs, like getting arrested.
I think, see, that's the problem, right? So, again, when you have situations like that, right? He thinking he getting great footage of somebody.
Right, because we don't know if it was a male or a female that recorded the
and
video.
so
but whoever did it needs to get this, like, similar punishment to the man that actually did the act.
But where was his friends?
Allegedly
to say,
did the act.
Yo, dog, you taking it a little too far, dog. Where was that? Or, see, I don't know.
I mean, listen, no shade. There are men that creep into clubs just solo dolo, like scheming.
See?
I'm not saying that women don't scheme, but we're talking about this. Hello. We're talking about this in the context of this particular story.
Right.
This woman was there. Don't know if she had girlfriends. This man was there.
Don't know if he had
Right. Don't know if he had guy friends with him. Either way, even if she appeared on the video snap as if she liked it, you don't know how your body reacts to certain drugs at all, right?
Right.
When people take ecstasy, that doesn't make them prone to wanting to still have sex with you.
Right. Because everybody reacts differently.
Yeah,
so.
It doesn't matter what they do, what they drink, what they want to consume. If they are not fully coherent and they do not consent, man or woman, that is rape. That is assault. That point blank, period.
Absolutely.
You can't take it. That's not yours to take. And the men that are a part of the problem, Snap, and I'll call this out too, are men that are not holding their other guy friends accountable.
Men need to hold men accountable.
But it's the conversations like this that need to happen. Like, this happened. I do a morning show at the station that we work at. I literally sent this off to our APD so he could send it to the morning show producer because I want them to bring it up because they report out of Atlanta. And I'm like, y'all need to shine light on this story. Stat. Please shine light on this story. Please shine light on this story. So, transitioning to all of the things, I wanted to talk about toxic behaviors in both genders. What are some things, Snap, that you feel like you see that could be toxic from that you've experienced from women?
That's I don't know. I don't know how to just give examples. Like I almost gotta be.
You're always great at telling stories.
Yeah, but you
can talk about. You don't ever like to say it like this or frame it like this, but your domestic dispute situation, that's toxic, right? Like,
okay,
I know
I can go back and just say, in my life, well, again, I try to change from a lot. That was we talking almost maybe 15 years ago. Okay, not 15, 13 years ago or something like that.
But there's a thing that sometimes women like to provoke.
Right. And again,
I just want you to dig in the crates.
I just think, I don't know. I just not that I put myself in a bad situation. I just knew, again, because of, okay, let's go with male toxic
masculinity.
Toxic masculinity. And, forget the fact that I was like, I ain't calling the cops. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just, aid myself. I felt that, hey, I was in a position to talk shit. And so because of that shit talking and all that we was going through, I think that's where the whole thing
You're making excuses for
it. But
toxic
masculinity. I want to take responsibility, but at the end of the day,
you didn't put your hands on her.
I didn't until she did me. But it was a reaction. But it wasn't. I didn't slap her. It was more of to just get her off of me.
Yep.
It wasn't.
You were defending.
I'm hitting you to hurt you. No.
So you basically push her off of you.
For the most part.
Yeah.
But again, so on my end, I know that there are a lot of parts of me that again, toxic masculinity that I know I'm involved in, and then there's some that I'm just blindly unaware of. So
I know there's been women for the behaviors that you've done.
I'll go broke to pay a bill. So you know what I mean, and it's like, so okay, here you go, and it's like, why don't you ask her if she can take care of that bill? And it's like, wait,
have you ever been emasculated by a woman?
When you say emasculated,
you want me to get?
I need you to break it down on my end because have women taken care of me?
So emasculated, no, not that. That's not what I mean. But emasculated meaning a woman has made you, or has her intention was to make you feel less of a man in society, right? Because emasculation comes from even slave days, how men were killed in front of their wives and hung, or men had to watch their wives be raped in front of them, right? So different things that strips certain things away from you. Has a woman in your heyday ever, quote unquote, emasculated you?
No. I'm going to say the women in my life actually, for the most part, empowered me.
Poured into you. Okay.
And I don't know. So it spoiled me in a lot of relationships because, again, I went into them expecting certain things. I expected this is what you have to do. This is what you should do.
But you never felt less of a man when you were in a relationship because of some actions outside of yourself.
No, because
you can easily feel like that, like on your own. But
it's weird because there's a point in my life where, damn, I was just going through some bullshit, and to where I didn't want to go out anywhere. And the reason I didn't want to go out because my pocket change wasn't where it needed to be.
Okay.
And so,
did you feel like you could be honest about that with the people you were dating?
Well, at first I didn't want to be honest, but over time, if I dated you for a little bit, you actually saw how I was living. If it was just that opportunistic opportunity, it was, you didn't have time to see it. You was just in and out, but for the most part, and for the most part, I can remember being in a relationship. I had no job, and she wanted to go somewhere. And the crazy part is, I felt like a dick inside because we went out. It was her sister, all her friends, and like we had this big ass table. And like towards the end of the night, it's like everybody started pulling out money to pay this bill. And here I am, the boyfriend of the one who's having this party celebration, and I didn't have a dime to my name. It was like, but again, the shit she did was, she would take out money and hand it over to me like as if, no, this is your money. This is, and that's what I mean by she empowered me.
She gave you an allowance?
I don't even want to call it an allowance. What she did was she went to the bank. We went to the bank together, of course,
Oh, she knew you had some issues going on financially at that time?
Well, she knew I didn't have no job. She was the one work. She was literally supporting the relationship. So literally, but we pull up at the bank knowing that we're going to go out. And so she take out money and blah, blah, blah. But the first thing she did with that money wasn't put it in her purse. She gave it to me so I can tuck it, so that when I'm out and about with her, I'm the one pulling out the money. And so I wanted to feel a certain way, but I'm like, damn, this girl love me if she'll do this for me. And so that's how I was feeling. But that toxic masculinity was like, yo, how could you let this woman do this for you? It's like, that whole being a man thing. And, it's like, so,
air quotes, being
a man thing, right? I'm not being the best a man can be,
right,
or the best a man can get. But, again, when you think about that, you think of somebody who's super clean looking, somebody whose hair is intact, somebody whose clothes is dead right. They got a little buff to them. They ain't no chump looking sucker, dude. So, when I think about that, that's how I felt about it. Like the brawny paper towel. When you think of brawny paper towels, you think of this big ass, oversized paper towels that just was stronger than the rest.
Right.
But there's Cottonelle and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't see that as being soft. I just knew that brawny was the shit. You wanted to be big and tough. Every little kid look up to their dad at one point in their life and be like, I want to be as strong as he is. I want to be as tall as he is. I want to dress like him. So I think that's what it is. You grow up thinking that this is what it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. We're supposed to be strong. We're supposed to be I don't think the only woman that I could say in my life that was ever really tougher than me, I mean, besides one of my supervisors or bosses at one point in my life, was my mom.
Yeah.
But there was to a point where she could do anything she wanted, say anything she wanted, and I just had to take it. I'm gonna be dead honest. There was one or two times where I was ready to punch my mom in the face.
I mean, we all get to a point where you get frustrated with your parents.
But you can't do that. And right. I knew I couldn't do it. I knew that at the end of the day, as soon as I raised my arm, there would be more repercussions than the actual me touching her. Like, so, you walk away with that, I wish,
I know.
But
I mean, like, that's us having discipline, sans the children that kill their parents.
And there are some that can take it that far.
Yeah.
I was never that guy. I was always too scared of my mom. I
feel like as a black community, like we could probably exchange war stories about being raised.
And there
by
was
black
no father
parents.
in the house, but again, when I saw my father, that Negro was showing up to give whoopings. It wasn't like he was showing up to spend time.
Yeah.
And so that's why I got a thing with my father today. And not that I hate my father.
Okay.
No, I love my father.
But the way you connect the dots and wasn't anything.
It wasn't it was the
wasn't
good.
Happiness.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was the good,
And listen, that book I told you I was reading, Stab, it's a real thing. There's a time frame where our brains form different things based off our experiences, and that time frame closes. And so if your connection to your father happened during that time frame and everything that happened was bad, the moment that time frame closes and you get older, you're just like, I can't rock with this Negro unless you decide to really change it, and he makes an effort to change his behavior.
There are bad memories, there are good memories, and some of them are scary because and I know when I talk about this and sexuality,
Yep.
it started early with my dad.
Interesting.
And
What
I
do you mean?
say that because I don't know at what age my mom and him separated.
Yep.
But I do know that I have sisters. And one of the stories that I swear to God, my sister's mother tells me is that my father would make me feel on her butt when I was like 5, 6 years old.
Oh, no.
So that was the story. It was like, yo, you would always come and squeeze on my butt. And it was like, but where did I know that from? And I don't know if I ever told you a story about when I was 8. Did I tell you about a story when I was 8 years old?
About
and literally,
like you show me yours, I show you mine.
And no, that was a different one. I was even younger than that.
Oh, okay, hold on, let me think. When you were outside,
I snuck outside the house.
And,
there you go.
And you were seeing stuff, and you were just watching things.
Yeah, I was just. And so.
Wait, but did your father do anything?
No. He wasn't even in the picture at that time. That was just me living with my mom, single mom in Brooklyn.
No, but for you to even learn the behavior to touch your sister is what I'm saying.
Not my sister. My sister's mother.
Oh.
I don't even think she was born yet. I don't even think my sister was born yet.
Oh, you were
This was one of his girlfriends.
Sister.
This was one of my father's girlfriends that he would let me squeeze on her butt and stuff like that. That type of shit.
And she wouldn't stop it.
Listen, I was too young to understand it, you know? I think I was just in a mood.
You,
but let me tell you something. I knew I had an erection at 5, 6 years old. I mean, I didn't know it to be an erection, but I know my penis was hard when I was doing it. That type of shit. So, you know, again, there's good memories. There's bad memories. But again, I don't want to blame it on the times. I don't want to blame it on
No, but Snap, but see, now that makes sense, because sometimes I would think, I'm like, how the fuck does Snap, so young, but Snap, there is always a story that connects the dots, and people don't want to go that far back.
And I try not to go that far back, but again, I gotta understand why I'm the way I am.
Because I got something for that ass. You don't like therapy? Well, I got another shit for you, some psychotherapy.
Okay.
Because now it's no longer it's no longer in the form of therapy. It actually kind of digs deeper into different things, and it helps you rewire your brain maps. So people that are depressed, people that have trauma or different things that they dealt with, they're able to bring it to the surface, but then now your brain starts to create new memories where you're no longer holding on to those things anymore.
Right.
So maybe Snap needs psychotherapy. So that's the new one I'm going with, y'all. Psychotherapy. Not therapy, but some psychotherapy. Look that shit up.
I would never hurt anyone. Yeah. I would never kill anyone.
Yep.
But my lady did say something to me in a different form.
Yeah.
I'm not abusive, but I can do things to hurt. And I know how to do things to hurt. And it's not physically, but it would be emotionally.
Oh, well, emotional abuse it hurts as verbal and mental.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, all of that. All of that. I mean, obviously I can go on and on about toxic behaviors in men, but I'm just going to go more so on the things that I feel like I've experienced and I've allowed myself to experience. But it's just a whole people feeling like they can talk to me any which way, and selfishly lying where it ends up hurting me, maybe physically. That's toxic, because women do that too. Women can lie to men and it can hurt them physically.
Absolutely. I've been lied to. Absolutely.
Right. It can hurt them physically, but it's just, I know what it is overall for me. It's just the fact that being around men or dating men or being in the company of men that just don't have respect or regard for women, and that bothers me. That bothers me a lot. And so I definitely have a bigger appreciation for men that, walk on the certain side of the street. Like, I didn't know that until I was an adult, right? Like, that's what some men do, choose to do. That's what they learn, Their regard will always to protect a woman. They'll leave the house before they put their hands on you or whatever. If you go, if you get into an argument, I have a guy friend where sometimes I'll walk up to my door and however I'm dressed, right, which is usually like a big T-shirt, but I'm always like cracking the door.
Right.
So when he would leave my apartment, he would literally point to, so you have where the door is, where it opens up, where people can see you, and then you have to move over where people can't see you.
Right.
So he would get mad if I didn't, he would point for me to move away from the door to stand where I am to say bye. And I'll be like, in my mind, I was like, okay, I'll do this for him, Snap, but this nigga doesn't live with me. So I'm going to still answer the door how I answer it. But out of respect, so that was little things, right? I just, I don't think about that. But when it goes to those types of extremes, I really appreciate it. So, toxic, behaviors appear in both genders. I'm not, isolating, but I know this theme of this episode was more so about toxic masculinity. So I want to delve into that. And so, yes. aka hashtag Justice for Jasmine, the woman from that story we were talking about. So, Snap! You know what's next?
Yep, you know where they can find us. Twitter and IG at Black Nuance Pod. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify at Black and Nuance Podcast. And of course, we got that email popping off at blacknuancepod@gmail.com. For questions, comments, and feedback, make sure to reach out.
Yeah, come see.
What? Is it 21 episodes already?
Episode 21. He's legal. He's legal. He got it all right. Biggest thing is make sure you leave us comments on SoundCloud. Leave us comments and review us on Apple Podcasts. Rate us, please, and all that jazz, because we would not be here without you. And I'm going to get it together. I definitely want to do something called the BN Wrap Up, where we do we offer some offline comments where I get Snap on video talking, like really talking, and us doing some sound bites and stuff like that, some behind the scenes. So look out for that coming soon. On that note, we are out of here. Peace.